Hi, this is Greg Anderson. I'm the broker at RE/MAX Advisors West. I want to talk today a little bit about a conversation I had yesterday with a prospective buyer. He was a little bit gun-shy about buying because he had a friend who had gone through a hard time during the recession. What I was trying to explain is that there were a couple things. One is you're always buying real estate. The issue that my prospective client had is he's buying the real estate for his landlord as opposed to buying the real estate for himself. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. The second thing is, he was talking about the investment quality of buying a residential house for himself. And we can dive really deep into that, but I just want to talk about it just conceptually about what not to do. So this is going to be a little bit of a rant, so hang in here with me. Metaphorically, this is what the guy did. Or these aren't the exact numbers, but I just want to kind of go through just conceptually what happened. He bought a house for $100,000, put 10% down, had $90,000 or 90% on a loan, and let's just say for the sake of discussion that was at 5% on a 30-year, okay? Which, by the way, is not an offer to extend credit. This is just an example. Find out what you qualify for. We'd be happy to get you connected with a great lender. But just bear with me here. So his payment was $484 per month. Okay? Now, if he had just stayed the course, or in my fictitious example here, stayed the course, 5 years into it, the balance on that would be $82,000 and some change. Okay? So 5 years, they would have paid down that loan about $8,000. But here's what happened. Kind of saw the house as sort of a perpetual piggy bank, kind of like an ATM. So the house had gone up in value. So here's metaphorically what he did. He went, $150,000 is my new house value. Hooray! And I'm going to pull out some of that equity. So he take out 90% of that equity. He now owed $135,000 on the property. So he's got a slightly higher payment. But then the recession happened. So now the house isn't worth $150 anymore. House is now worth, let's say, $125. Starting to see the dilemma? He has $125,000 asset that he owes $135,000 on. Needless to say, that's not a good scenario. And he had some trouble with his job. He ended up losing the house. He couldn't sell the house because he didn't have that he had already spent that equity that he had pulled out of the house. He had harvested all that equity, spent it, didn't have it to give back to sell this property, and he was mad at the property. He had a $100,000 property that he pulled out an additional $35,000, actually $45,000, because he had his $10,000 equity. He owed $90,000, now he owes $135,000. House is now worth $125,000. And he was mad at the house. So we hear reoccurring themes or variations on that same story. There were tons and tons and tons of people that we talked to during the recession when we were doing a lot of foreclosure work. It was very rarely the loan that they acquired the house with that they lost the house with, or that they ended up losing, or that got foreclosed on. Invariably, it was that house as ATM, that was that loan. They kept ratcheting up that loan and those balances. So this is something I think if you get with your financial planners, I would be shocked if they thought that this was a good idea, because we dealt with a lot of people who in hindsight thought it was a very bad idea. As always, if you want to drill down into any of these things, talk more about it, call me, email me, be happy to dig deep and figure out what your situation would be and what would make the most sense. Thanks for watching.